My first video stopped like 2 minutes short. So this is our two functions, f of x and g of x. What I'm going to ask you to do is try and find f plus g of x, f minus g of x, f times g of x, and f over f divided by g of x. I'm not going to show how to do it in this video, so pause it and try these on your own. I'm assuming you paused it. I'm assuming you tried it on your own. I'm going to put the results. I'm going to put the answers up, and then there'll be a follow-up video on how to do them. So here are all the correct answers. If you didn't get those answers, please watch the follow-up video so you know how to get those answers. If you got the first two correct and you didn't get the second two correct, or vice versa, fast forward to whichever one you need to see, and you can watch in that follow-up video. All right, this is the last slide. So this is a more real-world situation. If you're getting into business, this might apply to something that you're going to be doing. So we've got the company, they manufacture and sell DVDs, and they've got some different equations to help them figure out profit and costs and all that kind of stuff. So we've got our number of DVDs sold each day is this equation, n of x equals x. The selling price for each DVD is this function here, 7.5 minus, I'm assuming $7.50 minus 7 cents per x per DVD. The fixed cost, again, I'm assuming like electrical, building, your costs that even if you didn't sell anything, you'd still have to pay, and the variable costs. I'm assuming this has something to do with, to produce something, it costs you money for the materials. So you've got these different equations to work with. I'm actually going to come out of there and show it right here. So revenue, this new function now, r of x, capital R of x, is the product is multiplication of the number of DVDs. We have a function for that. Number of DVDs sold each day is x, sold each day, and the price of each DVD, selling price of each DVD, we have this function here. So what they want us to do is multiply this function times this function. So I am going to come over to my my document camera. So this would be x times 7.5 minus 7 cents per x. So we'd have x, ignore that dot there, x times, so this is my n of x, times my price of x, I think it was p of x, which was 7.5 minus 0.07x. And if I want to multiply, if I want to find the product of those two, I can distribute through the parentheses. I get 7.5x minus 0.07x squared. And that'd be it. That'd be my new function. By multiplying those together, I have a new function. Technically, whatever properly, you should put the x squared first because it's in descending order. So it should be negative 0.07x squared plus 7.5x. However, not a big deal. Really, it's not worth worrying about. So this one, I have my answer, that r of x, the product or the revenue, is going to be 7.5x minus 0.07x squared. The cost of each DVD is the sum, so adding, of the fixed costs and the variable costs. So we're adding the fixed costs and variable costs. I'm not even going to go to the document camera for this. If we add these two together, we get 170 plus 2x. That's it. 170 plus 2x. Again, if you really wanted to be proper, you should put the 2x first. It should be 2x plus 170, but not worth worrying about because addition is commutative, and so we can flip-flop those. It wouldn't really matter. Same thing here. And so adding those together, fixed cost plus variable cost, 170 plus 2x. The profit. So the profit is the difference. Difference is subtracting between the revenue and the cost. We just created those two. So we used the original 4 to create the revenue function and the cost function. Now we're being asked to combine our new functions to find the profit. So it's the difference between the revenue and the cost. So we're going to take the revenue minus the cost. So I'm going to write these ones down. I'm going to go through the document camera to do that. So give me 1 second to write those down. There we go. And okay, here we are. So I've got my revenue minus my cost to get my profit. Now this minus, the reason I put these in parentheses, or the bigger reason I put these in parentheses, is I wanted to remind you that that minus is like a -1. So we need to distribute that -1 through. So it'd be 7.5x minus 7/100 x squared minus 170 minus 2x, like that. I can combine my like terms, so 7.5x minus 2x, 5.5x, and that's all the like terms I have. So I've got 7/100 x squared minus 170. And again, proper decorum would say put the x squared first. So it'd be negative 0.07 x squared plus 5.5x minus 170 would be the pinky out correct way to do it. However, if on a test you left it alone, I'm not going to take any points off for that, because you're meeting what I need you to be able to do. I need you to be able to subtract these two. So if you can subtract these two functions and get the correct answer, and they're not in the proper order, not a big deal. Average cost. So the average cost is the quotient. Quotient is division of the cost and the number of DVDs sold each day. So cost is right here, 170 plus 2x, and the number was x. Sorry about that. All right, we were doing average cost, quotient, division, cost, number of DVDs. So the cost was 170 plus 2x. The number of DVDs was x. So we're really just taking 170 plus 2x, and we're dividing it by x. And if I look at my document camera, it would look something like this. We'd have the cost, 170 plus 2x, divided by the number of DVDs sold each day, x. And you could leave it like this. We could factor a 2 out, but you couldn't cancel the 2. So that wouldn't really do anything, wouldn't simplify it any. You could factor, that's it, you can't factor an x out of both of these. The only other way you could write it, and it wouldn't be right, better or worse, would be to separate this into two fractions and say 170 over x plus 2x over x. If you do that, the only benefit is now we can divide the x divided by x here, and so you'd be left with 170 over x plus 2. And so these say the same thing. Neither one is really better or worse for our purposes, so I will accept either one of those. On mine, I think I have the first one. Yes, there we go. A of x equals 170 plus 2x over x. So that's how you can use this function notation and use these functions to combine these together and create new functions.